As we get closer and closer to Bowl Week, it's time to go behind enemy lines on this week's Media Spotlight. Joining today is Doug Smock, who covers Marshall football in West Virginia for the Charleston Gazette. Doug, thanks for joining and welcome to the show.
Well, welcome. We're now the Charleston Gazette Mail. We had a newspaper merger over the summer, so mild update there.
Seems there's a lot of that going around. I'm going to be honest in saying that I have not seen much of Marshall football here in 2015. I know the Herd finished the season at 9-3, but how did this season unfold, and did they meet expectations heading into the year?
I think the fans got a little spoiled off of last year's 13-1 season, and we're kind of expecting maybe a 10-2. 9-3, I kind of thought it would be 9-3 or somewhere around there, considering they had to break in a new quarterback. But they had one game resting on the toe of a kicker at the end of regulation, and he missed it. It was under 40 yards against Middle Tennessee. They lost that game in triple overtime. Ran into a buzzsaw against Western Kentucky, and early in the season against Ohio, they completely fell flat against a jacked up rival school that's about 80 miles away. So that's pretty much their losses. They beat up a pretty weak division. Otherwise, the bottom of the Conference USA is not terribly strong right this minute with the new membership. But and they beat Purdue to start the year. So the team all in all has been strong. Great defense, really good defense. Pretty much best in the league. And they lost, considering their losses on offense. 9-3 was pretty good. They lost their best running back and lost their best lineman. Little duct taping on the right side of the line, so they had to survive all that, and playing a true freshman at quarterback. Really, I think it was pretty achieved.
Now, you mentioned you did have a first-year quarterback in Chase Linton. He did throw for just under 2,500 yards, but had a very good touchdown-interception ratio. It was 22-7. What does he do well from that position? And based on his stats, he doesn't seem like a mobile quarterback with only 39 yards on the season.
Well, it's netting 39, so that's decent. When you're positive yardage, it means you can at least pull down and run when the situation needs be, and he can extend the play a little bit. He's nothing like Cato in that department, though. Rakeem Cato from the previous 4 years. Big, tall guy, about 6'6". He's pretty football savvy for a true freshman. More so than some previous Marshall quarterbacks, including some of the good ones. And we're even talking Byron Leftwich here. He's not as smart as Chad Pennington, because Pennington was a genius. He can throw real well. He can make all the throws, and he can improvise. And he's got everybody's respect, and did he started in game 3. Original starting quarterback Michael Birdsong got injured, and Linton was pressed into duty, and he won his first 7 games, I believe.
All right, sticking with offense, it seems there's been sort of a running back by committee. It seems, just looking at the stats, there's 5 players with more than 60 carries on the year. Who stands out at this position? I know you mentioned leading rusher Devon Johnson may be out. Is he back at practice, or is he expected to miss the bowl game, as some reports suggest?
He is expected to miss the bowl game. He's starting to work out. He got an invitation to the East-West Shrine game, which is a month after the bowl. I think he's aiming for that, and not the bowl game. As you say, it's committee. Devin Johnson ran for 1,700 yards. He was entertaining the way his style was straight ahead. He'll make one cut and he'll run right over you. But he got injured, his ankle, his back. They lost him for most of the season. And it is a committee. Remy Watson's a senior, very strong, scrappy runner. I'm starting to lose track. They even moved Tyleek Foster from slot receiver there. He's an elusive, speedy sort. Every one of the running backs brings something. Tony Pittman is a good number 3 back. Well, maybe at number 2. He was number 3. You know, he's combined some speed, a little power, not much. Keon Davis is pretty young, but he hasn't got as many carries, but he's, you know, he can run it. You know, it's just a committee. It really is. They'll spread out the carries in all likelihood.
I'm talking with Doug Smock as we preview the St. Petersburg Bowl, which kicks off at 11 a.m. on ESPN on December 26th from Tropicana Field. Now, Doug, other than Johnson, it seems both teams are pretty much going to be full strength. I know you mentioned that maybe an issue on the line. UConn quarterback Bryant Sheriffs is going to be back. He's coming back from potentially a concussion. Nothing was confirmed, but he did have a potential head injury. How is Marshall coming in health-wise other than Johnson? And do you expect Marshall to be at full strength?
They'll be, you know, other than, you know, the season-long losses of Devin Johnson and right tackle Clint Van Horn, I mean, those were long-term. They're going to be pretty much at full health, and particularly on the defensive side. I'm racking my brain, and I don't think there's an issue on the defensive side. That has been a really good, undersized by probably by Connecticut standards, but fast athletic defense.
Now, touching on the defense, Marshall did finish the year ranked 14th in points allowed in the nation, just 18.4 a game. UConn's not far behind at 17th. This could be potentially a defensive battle. Sticking with the Marshall defense, who are some of the impact players that we're going to see from the Marshall defense?
We'll start with the linebackers. Evan McKelvey is pretty much the glue of the bunch. And besides him, you know, he came off an ACL injury better and faster than he had been. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's 25 years old. He's the second youngest man on the team. And he plays beside the oldest man on the team, DJ Hunter. And DJ's real fast. He loves to blitz off the strong side. You might not see him a lot in nickel packages, but he is a, you know, tackles call him one of the more difficult men to block, and not because of his size. He's about 210, 220. It's his speed off the edge. He's a good rusher, and got a really surprising end combination. Gary Thompson we expected to be really good, and he's not even hit his potential yet. The big surprise has been 6'7" Ryan B., a redshirt freshman, who simply came in and knows how to play the run and gets a pass rush and gets his arm up in the air and knocks a few balls out. They've got a ball hawking secondary. They've got good safeties. Taekwon Lang pretty much split the game against Purdue with 2 interception returns. And Taj Letman is very active, good closing safety. And, you know, their quarterbacks, they're good. They're not as good as the safeties, perhaps, but they're pretty good.
And then final question for Doug Smock of the Charleston Gazette-Mail. What are expectations from Huntington heading in, and what is the perception of the UConn program as we creep closer to game day in St. Pete?
They're a little disappointed up here to get a 6-6 team in the bowl. To tell you the truth, they were looking at maybe a Temple, maybe a Cincinnati to play against, and they're kind of excited about that. That was a little bit of a letdown. I think they're getting a little bit over that. They don't like the day after Christmas Day, but you know, the expectation is there to go out and play good. And Marshall, under Doc Holliday, has prepared and played really well in their bowl games. And the results show it. They've been, you know, whether they've been favorites, they've been underdogs. They beat Maryland in the 2013 Military Bowl and finished really strong in that game. Got a good strength program, so, you know, if you go into the fourth quarter with the lead, you might have a difficult time closing on this team.
All right, thanks, Doug, for joining. I definitely look forward to catching up with you down at the Trap on the 26th.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking for you, and I think we both can go down and enjoy some good weather.